My name is Eric Charton, and with my colleague Dominique Boucher, we will explain to you how we are implemented AI technology at National Bank of Canada. That is our role, and my specific role is more general view to implement AI in the various business line of the bank. The next slide. So, in few words, National Bank is an old institution. It goes back to the 2 centuries ago now. And after some fusions and acquisitions, the bank is now the 6th of Canada. This is a public company working in all the aspect of the banking business, like retail banking, financial markets. This is very important to mention that because, as you will see in the presentation, what is interested in what we have done is we implement dialogue technology in many aspects, both client-facing, but also inside the bank for our internal activities. So I will go back to the history of what we have done since 2018 now. We have a long history with Rasa. I would like to say that. When we began to work on the platform at the bank, we had many occasions to discuss about what we were doing with Alan and Alex, and I have to mention that because they were very supportive, and every occasion they have to come to meet us in New York or Montreal, they came. And all the team of Rasa was incredibly growing along the time. So thanks to all of them. For numerous reasons, we are very discreet about what we do with Rasa technology for marketing purpose, and because what we want to put in front is what we do for the customer, not necessarily the technology we use. But we do a lot with Rasa Tech, and I will give you some insight about that. So just to begin with this timeline, when we began to build the AI group at the bank around April 2018, I came there and with a colleague, his name is Michel Descoteaux from the bank. We made a review of what was in progress at the bank in terms of dialogue system. And what we found is there were 9 bot projects with 9 different technologies and 9 different vendors. So it was a very atomic way to seeing dialogue system, and most problematic for us was there was no performance evaluation, and we consider that the question of the robustness of the dialogue system is really okay, and if you want an adoption not just to speak in the as a hype and that you do some chatbots, but if you really want to create value with the bot, you need to have a very rigorous approach in terms of evaluation. So in the summer 2018, we made the proof of concept using Rasa about in the previous one.
Sorry.
About the bot with some interns, and we show what was possible with this technology. And we decided we continued this and made some experiments in other line of business at the bank. We implemented a proof of concept for lawyers to try to remove from them some repetitive calls to ask some information about legal aspect. We made another dialogue engine, all with Rasa, with the same technology, for the platform we have to buy some equipment. And this was all the experiments that goes to some findings, and with those experiments, findings, usage of technology, we worked on paraphrasing, we worked on disambiguations, or you can build a robust dialogue engine. We had some scientific publication that you can see available, and we had a patent at the end of 2019. And in June, in February 2020, during the COVID pandemic, we had the opportunity to put our chatbot live, and it was just the beginning of the strategy. In November of last year, according to the success we had with the chatbot we deployed for the retail part, we had an executive presentation and decided to have now a strategy bank-wide that will lead us to publish 6 more dialogue engines this year in various parts of the bank. Next. So in the banking industry in Canada, we have a lot of activities. We have a patent on disambiguation. It's the unique patent on dialogue system in Canada. There is many in North America, but in Canada banking environment, we are alone. We have papers published in rank A and B conference. We have a very highly qualified team of dialogue specialists. There is the team of Dominique and mine. And we have a dialogue platform that fit our need based on Rasa. And we have also developed an in-house analytic solution to handle the full life cycle of the bots. And always this target maintaining the highest level of robustness. I will speak about that later. Currently, the dialogue system that we have online have an accuracy client-facing estimated to 75%, meaning more than 7 questions on 10 receive a good answer. Next slide. So the solution, as we have it, and Dominique will go deeper on the project part and the IT structure. The principle is a catalog of components that is supported by 2 teams, everything gravitating around Rasa. And we can go when one of the business line of the organization, for example, like the courtage recently, they come to us and say, okay, here is the component we will use to make for you a dialogue engine and but complete from the beginning to the end. We have 2 teams to support that. First team is mine. This team is in charge of product ownership. There is scientists, product owners. This team is in charge when there is a request to deploy a bot in the bank to do the business analysis, going on the data, for example, investigating the call center, what are the questions requested, or is the structure of the traffic. This team is also in charge of technological innovation with a very, very deep connection with Dominique. It's not two-sided and it's very important. We have in both teams a scientific profile, so we work very close. And there is the AI factory team that was built because we find some difficulty to industrialize all the AI technology that we want to build, and their role is to integrate the solution, industrialize it, and implement the technologies and nourish us to find some innovative solutions. The components available now is, of course, the dialogue engine that is packaged inside our own framework. All this is ready to be deployed on the cloud architecture on multiple channels. We have a reporting system. Each time we instantiate a new dialogue engine, we have all the analytic tools that collect the logs, and we have the capacity to analyze the log, to build some dashboard to report for the business line, but also we can connect the log with the profile of users in some context to see what's happening inside the bank. So we use all of that to understand what's happening in the head of our customers interacting with us, but also to increase their satisfactions and remove some workload on the call centers. And we work on the next step. We work on technology to increase the capacity to automate the model updating. What we want is to be able to collect some new formulation and push them in the models without any human interventions in the next 2 years. We implement new channel. We work to implement our framework on Teams now. And we work also on robustness technology like paraphrasing. How it works, we have a life cycle when someone comes with a bot project. This life cycle begins with the data collection. We build an experimental model. With the proof of concept, we will test the impact on the customer, and then we go in production. We publish, and on a regular basis, it can be every day. During the COVID, it was every 72 hours. We have the tools to know what's happening inside the dialogue engine, what is the satisfaction of the user, what is missing, and we can improve the model and then go again. During the COVID crisis, we went from 100 questions to 324 answered in 3 months. So we bootstrap the model, and then we follow what the user are doing with the dialogue engine. We are able to go very, very fast to track what's happening inside the bot. Next slide.
So it's my turn.
Yes.
Thank you, Eric. So I'm gonna talk more here about the IT side of the project. So I've been with a bank for about 2 years, and my primary goal was to industrialize all the chatbots that we plan to deploy at the bank. So there are really a number of truths that need to be established first. Building virtual assistants, especially in large enterprises, really it's an IT project. We have the AI component at first, but deploying it in a secure and in a robust environment really is an IT project in itself, which encompasses a large number of aspects. And first, you need to focus on, of course, the infrastructure, because what we want to have is as I said, a robust infrastructure and set of components, because these new technologies, especially in banks which are a bit more conservative, usually we want to shine. At the same time, we want to have something very stable, so it doesn't appear just to be the new shiny toy that AI scientists want to deploy. It's really something that help deflect calls, for example, for our contact centers. And at the center of this whole goal is what we call operational excellence, and of course DevOps is part of the things that we need to focus on. So really, a few years ago, the bank engaged in the DevOps bandwagon very seriously as part of our digital transformation program, and it effectively, Rasa is a very nice fit for this DevOps culture, being based on essentially open source technologies, source code, just things that you put into version control, because all the assets that you have in your chatbot should actually be version controlled, like code, be it actions, policies, and the like. All your multimedia resources, we have images, carousels, videos, things like that. Of course, all the training data, the configurations, the thresholds that are required to perform your NLU performance testing, and that goes along with the infrastructure as well. So everything should be version controlled. And this fits very nicely with the Rasa mindset. The nice thing about this approach is that at the end, this has very nice side effects. For example, having full version control over everything. You can easily audit the changes that were made to the chatbot, and this is very important in the bank context because reputation is our. I think it's our primary value. We definitely need to not. Do not have a negative impact on our reputation. So you need to audit everything that will be put in production. And most importantly, especially since this is an AI-based kind of product, we need to run experiments all the time to improve the performance and see what works well and what works best for the next iteration of the chatbot. So having everything under source control, this enables those kinds of experiments very easily, which is usually not the case with other kinds of platforms that are in the industry right now. And once we have a good, solid foundation for our first projects, we can easily develop some templates to the creation of a new chatbot projects internally. So we know the recipe and we apply it to all our future projects. So since we are in a complete DevOps mindset, we of course have our own CI/CD pipeline. This is a very simplified version of our pipeline, but at a very high level, what we do is we have a scanning step that is done. We apply our coding standards. We check for vulnerabilities. We calculate some code quality matrix that we need to attain, and of course we try to detect some bugs or code smells. Then we build the Docker images that we will put in production. Here I assume that the train model is already available somewhere on a storage bucket of some sort, but that could be also included in the CI/CD step, the training. Finally, before deploying everything to production, we run a number of automated tests. So we have unit tests, of course, for the actions, especially in the policies and stuff like that. But we also incorporate in the CI/CD the NLU performance testing. So we have some files that encode, the thresholds that need to be met in order not to degrade the performance. So if the performance is below a certain threshold, then we just stop the pipeline and we don't deploy in the staging environment, for example. So if that happens, well, we have to go back to our to the drawing board and see what made the pipeline fail and the accuracy to drop. And so we never put something in production that does not meet our performance requirement. And finally, we have a Rasa end-to-end testing. It's a very small library that we developed just to test very basic dialog flows, but it's done in a kind of unit testing framework. So it's integrated with PyTest, and it really tests all the interactions and the channel itself. So because sometimes we modify the channel and we want to make sure we don't have regression on that. Of course, if we think about DevOps, well, we have to consider the ops side of it. So of course we need observability at all level. We need monitoring, alerting. So we are aware of what's happening in production, and we have to react in a quick way to everything that happens there. Just to finish, I will quickly mention a few challenges that are the things we need to look at it in our projects. Of course, security is our probably biggest challenge. Make sure everything is secure. We are a bank, so again, reputation is our biggest asset. the integration of the web chat component is usually done by other teams at the bank. So usually this means we have to work with those teams. They have very different, schedules, and we need to plan those integrations well, especially when we make upgrades to those web chat components. So usually that's the hard part. Developing a chatbot itself is usually I would not say easy, but it's the easiest part. It's integrating into other web apps or applications. That is the most time-consuming part, I'd say. And finally, I'd say we have to resist what we call the UI tax. We are in a very nascent industry and technology, so we have to resist the urge of putting nice user interfaces on top of those technologies, because they change at a very fast rate, and so we have to maintain those UIs. So it's very time consuming. So we really need to stay at the code level, and that's what Rasa helps us do very effectively. Thank you very much.